Let's take a look at those weather headlines as we wrap up your work week and head into your weekend. And I'm sure if you've been outside this evening, maybe you were walking the dog or just going for a late evening walk, you notice it feels very comfortable out there as we have that dry air starting to move in. And that's going to be sticking around over the next couple of days, making it feel just a little bit better to be outside. It's still going to be hot as temperatures are going to be making their way into the 90s. So we don't get that the way just yet, but at least we're getting a break from the humidity the next couple of days. And for your weekend, we're going to keep the 90s, but it does look like we should have dry conditions. So if you have any outdoor plans, you should be good to go, as rain chances look to be few and far between over the next 7 to 10 days. Let's look at your humidity tracker. And so you can see the more green the shade is, the more humid it is. And so with this lighter green, almost kind of a light whiter shade showing up, that's that drier air that's working in thanks to a front that is kind of pushed over the region. It's going to be with us for our Friday. Even into Saturday, we still have that lighter green shade, so that drier air over top. But you can see the humid already starting to build back towards the beach, and then that's going to make its way over top much of the Palmetto State throughout the day on Sunday. So really, we just get 2 days, and then that humidity makes its way back. So really, make the most of the next 48 hours. Outside, though, right now, live look over the capital city. You can see clear skies. Temperatures are cooling off nicely. We're sitting at 77 degrees. Dew point still very comfortable at 64. So very pleasant evening here in the Midlands. Tomorrow morning, as you're out at the bus stop, a very comfortable start to our day. Temperatures likely going to dip down into the 60s to get your morning started. But you can see by the afternoon, we're getting into those lower 90s, but it's going to be a dry heat tomorrow afternoon, so we really won't have to deal with that humidity. Again, that's because we have this front that's moving through, high pressures building in, sending us that drier air from the north. So sunny skies, low 90s, but not as humid for our Friday. And that's just going to continue into the weekend. It says high pressure is really going to set up, continuing to give us this clockwise northerly flow around it, sending that drier air over top the region. So we get those 2 nice days, but again, still hot with temperatures in the 90s. Heading into Sunday, our area of high pressure starts to slide off to the east, giving us a little bit of that return flow, which is why we're going to see the increase of the moisture and humidity on Sunday. But we got another high that's building over the central part of the country that's going to pretty much dominate a large portion of the country heading into next week. That's going to set up that heat dome, which is why we are tracking warmer temperatures heading into next week. Mid-90s on Sunday, likely upper 90s as we get into Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of next week. And things, as we now move deeper into the Atlantic hurricane season, are starting to get busy. As you can see, we have a parade of storms out there now that the National Hurricane Center is keeping an eye on. So the one that's farthest off, closer to Africa, that has now a 70% chance of development. You can see this cluster of storms a little bit more organized, so we'll keep a closer eye on that. This middle system, it's kind of losing its steam. It's now down to just a 50% chance of development. And we got another one that we're keeping an eye on. That's some of these storms right here. It's got a 20% chance of development over the coming days. And then we also got this cluster just north of the Dominican Republic, and that also has about a 30% chance as it makes its way to the Gulf of Mexico a little bit later on and into the weekend. So a lot going on in the tropics, but the biggest takeaway right now is nothing that looks to be making its way towards the Carolinas. So that is the good news. Here's a look at that 10-day forecast again. Dry and sunny, but hot. Temperatures continuing to be in the low 90s, but again, less humid tomorrow and Saturday, starting to get a little bit more humid Sunday. And then look, here comes the heat again, mid to upper 90s, triple-digit feel-like temperatures to start next week. And then a few more rain chances finally move back in towards the end of the week and towards the following weekend.